I am Ageless Jess, and I am super excited to be launching this February series, Skyrocket Your Sales. So, if you are an entrepreneur, a holistic practitioner, a coach, a healer, a mystic, an intuitive, you are absolutely in the right place because we are going to go through 28 days of some magical content that's really going to support you in tweaking what you're currently doing and leading you down the path to skyrocketing your sales and having some more successful interactions so that you can boost your revenue. Who doesn't want to do that, right? Well, before we jump in, since this is the very first day of the series, I wanted to take a minute to introduce myself, tell you a little bit about me. If you are watching this live, you can comment in the chat. If you are watching this on replay, please comment in the replay to let me know that you enjoyed this and watched. And also, feel free to ask any questions in the chat if you are watching the replay, and I will get to those daily so that you'll have answers. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Jess Rydell. I have actually been out of the actual coaching game for a couple of years. I had a 3-year business in Atlanta, Georgia. Started out helping women leave corporate America to start their own businesses. That was kind of my focus and niche, and had a wonderful 3 years in Atlanta. Had a little studio space. I called it the Lair. And 2020 happened. And I had to take what I like to call a divine detour because I was looking at my numbers. And for year 3 of my business, my numbers were not going in the right direction. They were going backwards. And, it was a kind of a sketchy time. I'd broken my ankle, some other stuff had gone down, and I needed more income. So I actually took a job working for a high level, high ticket business coach for 2 years. And I was able to really successfully sell a lot of her stuff, close to $2 million of her products. And it hit me towards the second half of the second year that I was there is A, why am I not selling my own stuff? And B, why am I not teaching entrepreneurs and mystics and intuitives and holistic practitioners and people like that all the things I've learned through my time selling? So I switched directions and I'm taking on a whole new passion project and career path of supporting particularly spiritual entrepreneurs, small businesses, people in the spiritual community with getting out of their own way so that they can get more clients and make more money. And the thing is, all the marketing in the world will not save you if you do not have a successful sales process and you don't know what you're doing when it comes to, holding a sales conversation and closing a sale. So let me also say, one of the words that you are definitely going to need to be aware of throughout this series is a word that I will use a lot. And that word is scritch. Okay, scritch, SCRITCH. It's kind of a made up family word. It's like, think about it being like that itchy, scratchy feeling you get when you're really uncomfortable, when you're out of your comfort zone, you're going through personal growth, or there's just something that is like sort of digging at you that's holding you back from taking action. When that happens, you're in what we call scritch. So, one of my goals for everyone that's going to participate in this series is to get you out of scritch, because scritch is what's going to hold you back from living your best life, going after your dreams, showing up more, letting people see you. Because the thing is, if you have a business and people cannot see you, you don't have a business, right? You're dead in the water. People don't know what you're doing. I'm very fond of the quote, and I'm going to say it here. If you're not talking about your business, then no one is listening. I'm going to say that again. If you're not talking about your business, then no one is listening. I know that's kind of a little bit of a joke in there, but write that one down because I want you to be thinking about that as you move through some of the teaching and some of the practice points that we are going to touch on over the next 28 days. So I have divided this up into 4 different sections because we got to walk before we can run. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to address and debunk the myths around sales. Because lordy, lordy, there are a lot of them. Okay. I hear this all the time. I hear it from clients. I heard it from clients when I was working with Driven. Um, there are people that simply have mindset challenges with sales, and these things can really keep people stuck. So, for the next 7 days, we are going to have a discussion and debunk some of the common sales myths that I hear often. And you may identify with some of these, all of these, or if you're really lucky, none of these. Maybe you used to have that belief and then you worked through it and you came out on the other side of it and you have a completely different belief system. So this process will just validate the fact that you have gotten through your own script, right? Okay. So the first myth that I want to debunk today is that sales is sleazy. Sales is sleazy. I've had a client share with me. She has some hangups about sales. She's a lovely person, amazing practitioner, does great work, gets great results with their clients. But she has a block about sales, and she's like, I don't want to be promoting my stuff and like acting like a used car salesman. Right. That's the sleaze factor, right? The used car salesman, the image of this guy, he's greasy, he's leaning around, he's slimy, he's only looking out for his own self-interest. He doesn't really care about you. He just wants to make a sale of the lemon or whatever used car that it happens to be. Excuse me. Um, that he's trying to pawn off of the lot onto you, right? So that's kind of where that imagery comes of, oh gosh, if I have to sell something, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be sleazy, greasy, gross used car salesman on a lot trying to pawn a lemon. Um, it's just not true, guys. Okay. And we've got to reframe this one, because let me tell you something, it will hold you back. It will hold you back, and you will never have a thriving business. You will never be able to successfully promote your offers and services and close more people into your business, whether that's one on one, whether that's group. We've got to debunk this myth, because if you have a hang up around promoting and selling your own products, how in God, on God's green earth, are you going to do that? Right? Think about it. So if you sort of have that sales is a bad word, I want you to really dig in, and let's flip the script on that. Let's talk about all the positives of sales. And I just want to put something out there. And I asked the client this question as well. If you feel like when you're selling your stuff, right, when you're selling your own stuff, that you are a used car salesman, what does that say about how you feel about your product, about your service? Is it like a used car? You can't think of what you are offering that way. So let's first start with elevating our own belief in our product and services, right? That's one of the main things that gets in entrepreneurs' ways, in their way, is basically um, them not feeling confident in what they're promoting. And no one's going to come along and tell you how great it is until you believe it's great. Okay. That's something that I learned the hard way over time through trial and error when I began my business in 2016. And I had a lot of my own script around, oh my God, I have to tell these people what I'm doing. And there's something different about selling a product for a corporate organization and selling your own services, right? It changes the dynamic. And sometimes you get all tied up in it. It's your about your ego, right? And you're like, oh, what is this person going to think if I try to promote my program or whatever it is that you happen to be selling. But we've got to debunk the myth that sales is sleazy. Sales is not sleazy at all. Everything in the world is sales, if you think about it, right? Even like you think even about relationships, there's an aspect of selling when it comes to relationships. And I'm not trying to just make that sound transactional. I value relationships. I'm in a wonderful relationship myself. I've been married for 17 years. But sales is everywhere. And people I've interviewed in the past, that told me, what is it? One girl, I love this story. This one girl came in when I was working for Jenny Craig, and she's like, I can't sell. I'm not good at sales. She's interviewing for a sales position, mind you, right? I'm no good at sales. Back when I was a Girl Scout, I couldn't even sell Girl Scout cookies. And I was like a little confused by that. And I was like, well, Girl Scout cookies kind of sell themselves, but the Girl Scout still needs to tell people the price and take the money, right? Anyway, she didn't get hired long to make a long story very, very short. So for the first day here, I want you to list out the misnomers, the ideas, all of the reasons that link back to why you feel scritchy about selling, right? Because we have to come like to the table with our product or service with a very pure heart and a belief that what we are offering is something wonderful that is going to help solve the problem of the individual that you're speaking to, right? And that leads me to another point, especially when it comes to spiritual entrepreneurs. We have a bunch of people running around selling what I like to call an intangible. Okay. I want you to really think, and granted, there's all sorts of modalities that people work with, whether it's Reiki, whether it's Akashic Records, just whether it's psychic readings, but it's still, your service still needs to solve a problem. And as Suzanne Evans is fond of saying, if your business doesn't solve a problem, you don't have a business. So if you cannot clearly articulate and identify what problem your business solves, okay. So for example, I'm a sales success coach. So I help people that are struggling with selling, right? That solves a problem. What I was doing before was somewhat tangible, but it was a little less tangible. And so it was a little bit harder to get qualified leads because people that want to leave corporate are in a lot of fear and scritch, and they don't necessarily want to invest heavily just to get out of scritch. But a lot of people that I worked with were willing to do that. And we were able to get them out of their own way, reframe the mindset, the belief system, get them excited and confident, and then get them, on the road to really creating and doing what they absolutely love. So, oh gosh, as I said, guys, sorry, under the weather, and there was no way that I was not going to do this today because I committed for the next 28 days. So sick, not sick, healthy, whatever, coming to the table here. So what I would like for you to think about is all the ways in which you have had, what do you think created your belief that there's something icky or sleazy or awkward or awful about sales? Write it all down, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to reframe. We are going to kind of turn each of those statements on their head with a more empowering statement that makes more sense, that is going to serve you better if you were to believe it. So instead of saying, guys, I'm just totally riffing here. I go without a script, so please get used to my style. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth yet, so be prepared for that. I'm afraid if I curse, I'm going to get kicked off of all of these platforms because I'm actually streaming to several platforms at once, which I've never done. It's kind of intimidating to think that you're on like LinkedIn and your business page and like Twitter all at the same time. It's like, anyway, I shouldn't have gone on that tangent because now I lost my train of thought. But no, like, oh yes, we were talking about how to flip the script on your limiting beliefs around sales. So I want you to reframe it. So instead of sales is sleazy, what could we say differently? Sales is a transfer of enthusiasm. Sales is a transfer of innovation. Sales is a support system to bring people to their goals. Sales is a magical exchange where someone is able to commit to stepping into solving their problems, right? So again, just reframing in a way that you are looking at showing up in a really, really positive and affirmative and enlightening way. As I've said to people when, I did a lot of phone training in my career in weight loss because I was a national sales trainer for a weight loss company. I've also worked as a regional sales director for a plastic surgery company. So I come to the table with a lot of experience with sales, which is why it was just like, bam, could have had a V8. Why am I not coaching this? So thus the change in direction. But yeah, so really dig in there and let's do some reframes. And I'd love to hear your beliefs and how you reframe them. If you'd like to share that in the comments on whatever platform you happen to be watching on, because I think that, just engaging in some conversation and getting that out on the table, there's probably a lot of people who can relate to your limiting belief or whatever script you happen to feel around sales. Okay, and I realized I just like went in a big circle and didn't tell you the story that I wanted to tell you. So yeah, phone work in weight management. I'd get a lot of people that would say, "I don't want to make these calls, Jess. I don't want to make the calls because I feel like I'm bothering the people. I feel like I'm bothering someone, right?" And my answer for that was always, look, if you're picking up the phone with the idea that you think you are bothering someone, chances are you are, right? You are bothering the individual because that's your belief going into the phone call. All right. So, in order to come at this from a fresh new angle of joyful exuberance instead of fear, dread, and scritch, we've got to reframe. So, I would tell those people it's like when you pick up the phone, let's pick up the phone and say, I am reaching out to support this person that has fallen off the wagon with their weight management plan. If I were in their situation, I would want someone to reach out to me. I would want someone to care. I would want someone to follow up because I'm not very good at, following up myself and I need that extra push or I wouldn't have walked into a weight management clinic and, asked to sign up and gotten started on a program. So I hope that makes sense. I'm running into time here. I wanted to keep all of these under 20 minutes. So please do a little bit of homework exploring any limiting beliefs that you have around sales being sleazy. That is myth number one. We are going to debunk it. We're going to have a wonderful 28 days. Also, if you are at the end of this, in the comments, if you could share with me why you are joining in this series and what you hope to get out of the 28 days with me, that is also going to help me as I curate the content that I already have outlined. All right, I'm tickled to death that you joined me, and I am looking forward to spending time with you and adding to the list. And I have some fun offers and other things that I will be putting on the table as time goes on. So tune in every day, whether you watch live or watch the replay. And can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye, guys.